The rules of sudden death football are completely unforgiving. You train for 4 years, play for 90 minutes, and a single misplaced pass sends you packing. This is what they bleed for: the World Cup trophy, an 18-karat gold prize waiting at the end of a grueling month-long gauntlet. Entering the pitch is Belgium's so-called golden generation. These players are carrying immense expectations, backed by a legacy of top-tier club success that they desperately need to translate to the international stage. But standing in their way is Senegal. They are a fearless, highly physical squad entering this tournament completely unbound by past failures, eager to aggressively dismantle established hierarchies. The pressure on the grass is mirrored in the stands. You have tens of thousands of fans channeling the anxiety and desperate hopes of entire nations directly onto the shoulders of 22 players. Once the referee blows the whistle, the outside world disappears. There are no points to accumulate, no goal differences to save you, and zero margin for error. This 90-minute window forces a direct collision between a heavily favored roster desperate to validate a decade of hype and a hungry challenger built specifically to tear that script apart. To understand how this clash actually plays out, we have to look at the massive geography of the pitch itself. This schematic shows Belgium's preferred mode. They rely on structured control, using a tight network of passes to dictate the rhythm. They calculate every angle, waiting for the defense to misalign, then exploit the gap with a precise forward pass. Senegal's approach operates in total opposition. They thrive in controlled chaos, utilizing explosive speed and imposing physicality to break lines and attack directly. When you put these two systems on the sand grass, it creates a highly volatile reaction. Belgium requires rhythm to succeed, and Senegal is engineered specifically to break rhythm. That systemic friction means the entire match will be won or lost in one specific zone, the center circle of the midfield. If the Belgian midfielders hold their ground and win their individual duels, they can effectively quarantine Senegal's attackers and starve them of the ball. But the risk of holding possession is severe. A single intercepted pass in the center instantly flips the script, triggering a multi-lane Senegalese counterattack. This transition to an absolute defensive emergency happens in seconds, leaving defenders scrambling to cover space. Every rotation and pass carries the threat of elimination. It is a highly intricate tactical puzzle being solved by athletes moving at a full sprint. As the clock ticks past the 80-minute mark, the physical space on the field seems to shrink, and the tension in the stadium becomes entirely suffocating. You start to see the Belgian defensive line creep dangerously far up the pitch, desperate to pry open a stubborn defense before time expires. Meanwhile, Senegal absorbs the pressure. They stay compact, coil tight, and wait for the exact millisecond their opponent overcommits. Then the trap snaps. A sudden turnover, a dead sprint down the flank, a perfectly weighted cross into the penalty area, and a final brutal strike into the net. The mechanics of the game dictate that someone will eventually make a mistake. The only question is which side will successfully capitalize on it. Will it be a moment of calculated surgical precision, or a sudden burst of overwhelming, uncontainable power? When the final whistle blows, only one roster will move on. The rest will pack their bags. Who do you think survives this matchup? Let me know down below in the comments.